Hello folks, I'm Alex, this is Alex Unabridged. Welcome or welcome back to the channel if that is the case. Yes, the Read What You Own challenge is upon us again. It is the 4th as I post this video and it starts tomorrow on the 5th of November. And yet I'm doing it again, but this time with a very specific purpose in mind. It's not just about, stopping buying books for a bit. For me, it's about stopping buying books for quite a length of time. If you saw my reading ramble that I posted at the weekend, you may know that I am planning a move to Scotland. We have an agreement in place to take over a cottage that we've stayed in on holiday before, long term from April 2027. Which means we've got a lot to do in the next 17 months, and a big part of that is clearing stuff out. Books will be included in that, and also saving money. save. And so the Read What You Own challenge seems like the perfect thing for me to jump on board with at this point. So yes, I've done a stock take of my books and my video games and my miniatures that I've got to paint and all that kind of stuff. I've been stock taking the entire contents of the house in recent weeks, and books alone, yeah, I've got a lot. I've got a lot for me anyway, across all formats. So that's ebook, audio, and physical books. I've got around about 650 books. Which I think probably for a lot of folks isn't a huge amount, and certainly by no means, I think the smallest proportion of that is physical books. But when I also look at the fact that 330 of those I haven't read yet, then yeah, those numbers aren't great for me. So that's the plan really, is to clear as much of the backlog as possible. So I'm not going necessarily for a fixed number, so I'm not necessarily going to be doing like the bronze, silver, gold, platinum kind of challenge that is part of the Read What You Own, if you want it to be, nor am I going for page numbers or anything like that, and I'm not really going for a fixed amount of time really. This is just kind of ongoing for me now, this Read What You Own challenge. The earliest I intend to cease doing this is Christmas 2027, so that's 2 years away. So yes, I am basically just gonna really dig into my shelves, to my ebook libraries, to my audio libraries, and clear some of the stuff, get rid some of the books that have been sat here for ages. And in an effort to help me clear this pile of this backlog, I'm going to institute a 20% rule to help me. So if the book isn't doing it for me, if I've not got into it, if I'm not feeling it within 20% of the total page count or runtime, if it's an audiobook, then I will DNF it and move on. If it's a physical book, that means it can be sold or donated, and if it's digital, I will just clear it from my library to stop it kind of cluttering up my files, and I can say, well, I've tried it, it's not one. So yeah, to kind of help me get through stuff, I'm gonna be quite ruthless in allowing myself to DNF, because I still feel kind of bad sometimes DNFing things, and maybe sort of I go on longer than I should, and then my reading slows down because I kind of don't want to read it. I kind of starts to feel not like a chore, but just I'm not inspired to go into the book, and I don't like starting something new until I've finished it, so it kind of slows me down. So I think if I institute that 20% rule, then that's a good amount of time for me to know whether I'm going to enjoy something. So if that's like a 300-page book, that's going to be 60 pages, which is about right for me in terms of knowing whether I like the writing style, I like where the story's going, I like the pacing, etc. if I'm interested. If I'm not sure, then I'll allow it to go a bit further, but generally speaking, I'm going to go with the 20% rule. So as with all Read What You Own challenges, there will be some caveats. I have to allow some caveats, otherwise I will dramatically fail this. I need to allow myself to have access to some new books or books that are not within my collections already. So the first one is I can, of course, still get books as gifts, Christmas and birthdays. But I'm going to restrict myself in terms of the amount of books that I ask for. So when my mum says, what's on your Christmas list? I'm not just going to fill it with like books, because my parents are usually very, very generous, and they'll, we buy second hand for each other as well. So, she'll often come up with quite a few of the books that I put down. So I'm going to put a maximum of 3 on any present lists. Surprise book gifts are cool. They're absolutely great, and I love those because often I find things that I wouldn't have ordinarily bought myself. But yeah, so I still do need to reduce the amount of stuff that I bring into the house. So asking for a ton at Christmas kind of defeats the point, etc., and birthdays. The other caveat is that I can buy books for work purposes. Any reference books that I need are absolutely okay. I'm still allowed to buy that kind of thing. But I'm getting rid of a ton of subscriptions, like TV and game subscriptions, as well as for books, things like that. So I'm going to assign a small amount of money each month, say like £5 per month, which is a fraction of what I spend at the moment on all sort of subscriptions, so that I can buy ebooks by indie authors or anthologies by small presses, small publishers. And this is work related because I'm editing and publishing, more's the point, stuff now, and I need to keep up to date with what indie authors are putting out there. Plus I want to support indie authors, especially debut authors, self-published authors, and I also want to support other small presses, micro presses, publishers, and look at what they're putting out, that kind of thing. It's part of being in that industry, is being up to date on what's going on. And I'm building that kind of reading into my work days as well. But the rule is that I'm not going to buy things on spec of, oh, that looks interesting, I'll read that someday. Because that's how I've ended up with a lot of ebooks in my library that I haven't read yet. And physical books, to be fair. Instead, I'm not going to buy something until I am ready to start it and I have made a commitment in my mind to that is what I am reading next. And then I'll buy it. So that's the way I'd hopefully stop any kind of build-up of stuff that is a speculative buy. I am a member of my local library and all of the access that they have online to ebooks and audiobooks as well, so I will use that where I possibly can. But again, I'm not going to rely on that so that I can just end up reading a load of new stuff and not actually clear some of the collections here. That's kind of if there's something new coming out or something that I think I should be reading for work purposes, or if I just fancy a change. If I just kind of go, no, it's fine, you've made some progress, go to the library and pick yourself something, that's all good. But at least I'm not kind of bringing anything in to the house that's bought, that's permanent. The only other caveat is that I will probably dip in and out a little bit of some sort of audio subscription, and keep it at the lowest possible level. Audio is my go-to format these days, and especially because my work is now a lot more kind of text focused in the day. I don't always have the eyes to read at night, and I still want to be able to read for pleasure. So audio is absolutely my go-to. So I will maintain some access to new stuff on audio, but that will be very much for new books coming out. So for instance, examples for next year are like Adrian Tchaikovsky's new books. There's the fourth in the Children of Time series and the fourth full book in the Tyrant Philosophers series, out within a couple of months of each other. Next year there's an Adrian Tchaikovsky Warhammer book coming out. There's various things throughout the year that I know I'm going to want to read and probably have on audiobook. So I will allow myself those sorts of things where I'm invested in a series and I've got the others on audio, and it's kind of maintaining that kind of series. But I'm not just going to sort of have a subscription ongoing that I can just buy books willy-nilly, that kind of thing. I've got plenty of things that I can get through that I've got to read you know, in my current libraries. So it really is about like really stepping back that on spec spending and on spec book buying. So yes, so that's what my plan is. As I say, this will be in effect until at least the end of 2027, because yeah, money has to go elsewhere at the moment, and I really do have to clear some space. I have to clear some books, so I'm not moving a load of stuff up with me that I don't need. It'll be very much a, you know, if I've read it or I've tried it and DNF'd it, unless it's a favourite, it goes out the door. So yeah, that's my plan for the next 2 years now. We'll see if I manage it and see how much I fail in terms of bringing anything new into this that I buy myself. But as I say, like there's something to focus on now in terms of when I think, oh, I've got a bit of, you know, that's cheap, I can buy that. No, because that money could go into the moving pot, and all these little spends that I've been making over the last couple of years or so, when I've looked back, they add up. They add up to real money quite quickly, and that money is, you know, absolutely better spent for me the next couple of years on all the stuff that we need to accomplish whilst I move house. So there we go. Those are my plans for Read What You Own and why I'm doing it for the next couple of years. Let's see how many of those 330 unread books I can actually get through in those 2 years. That'll be the interesting thing. I know what the number is of what I've got right now unread. Let's see how many of those I can tick off over the next couple of years. So that'll do for me today. It's just a quick one with the plan. But thank you very much for watching, folks. Do drop your thoughts in the comments below. Do let me know if you're taking part in the Read What You Own challenge this year, what your goal is. I will be back anon. I'll probably have a little review of another book by one of the Trash Tales authors coming up soon. So yes, that's probably what you'll see from me next. But until then, from me, that's ta-ra.